In the heart of the urban jungle, a unique species of Homo sapiens thrives. Identified by their common adornments, the humble hoodie, their peculiar yet endearing rituals involving ping-pong tables, and an astonishing amount of free coffee. The startup Homo sapiens.
I'm no David Attenborough, but I know a thing or two about startups. For example, did you know they don't run on coffee alone?
I'm here to guide you on an extraordinary journey. Our new Twitch series, AWS Let's Build a Startup. Together we shall observe how an idea evolves, grows and matures into a real minimum viable product. All of this within the AWS ecosystem. Whether it's the thirst of knowledge guiding you or simply your passion for free caffeine, join me on this fascinating journey.
Hey, hello folks. Welcome back to AWS Let's Build a Startup. This is your weekly fix of everything startups building on AWS. I'm your usual host, Giuseppe Battista. I'm a senior solutions architect here in the UK, and I work with pre-series A startups. That's kind of my jam. So today we have a very special episode in store. It's actually something I feel a little bit uncomfortable. Today is all going to be about the S word, and if you know anything about me, you know that this might have been a struggle for me as well. Of course, I'm talking about sales, so get your head out of the gutter, and please do let me know where you folks are coming from, what you're building, and what's your relationship with sales. Have you ever been involved into a sales role? What was your initial struggle with it? I was chatting with a friend the other day, and it was like, oh man, I really need to get better at sales. It's something that I never thought I would have said in my life, but that's it. That's the startup founder life, I guess. We never stop learning. So I guess that this is why I really wanted to have an episode that was focusing on sales today. So the main reason is that in my years at AWS, I've seen a good number of startups with incredible, mind-blowing products, but they were struggling in finding their audiences and, most importantly, navigating the actual sales cycle. So there are a few things that you learn along the way, things that nobody teach you, nobody can teach you, or you have to learn it through experience. And especially at an early stage, if you don't have somebody in your team who's gone through the hurdles of an enterprise sales funnel or procurement processes, the task of getting in front of the right person can be daunting, even to just like pitch your idea or like pitch your startup. So as an early stage founder myself, I actually made the mistake of thinking about sales as a lower priority part of my business, and probably thinking that the need for my shiny tech solution would be self-evident. But that's kind of a hard lesson that I learned with the experience. But the good thing is that we're here to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistake I made. So today I wanted to chat about, again, like the S word with a team of experts that can help you get onto the right channels absolutely super really fast. So folks, please do let me or help me introduce to the stage our friends from Clazar. So Clazar is a platform that automates sales, like getting onto the cloud marketplaces for software companies, and it handles all of the steps of listing and selling on to the AWS Marketplace, from the initial setup to private offer creation, and even with co-selling, and everything is integrated directly with your existing CRM, something like Salesforce and HubSpot. So I've seen Clazar helping startups getting listed in days, not weeks or months. So I'm super keen to learn a bit more about their magic and how they make it happen for startup founders. So Lalit and Joey, welcome to AWS Let's Build a Startup. How's it going, folks?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Hey, absolutely, super happy to have you here, and we have already some folks actually asking some interesting questions, or like expressing a little bit of sympathy for like the go-to-market hurdle. So, but before we start, how about Lalit and Joy? How about you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Clazar, so what your day-to-day actually looks like, and how you're helping startups getting listed on the marketplace quickly as you do.
Yeah, I'll let Lalit kick things off.
Yes,
Yeah.
cool. So, hey everyone, so good to be on this call, and I really like the question that's flowing in right now. And I think for all of the early stage founders, figuring out the GTM, finding initial success is extremely important. So we were ourselves was also a startup. Now it's been 3 years for us. So we started 3 years back. And the good part was that before this, I was also running my own company. So I ran it for 3 years. I know the pain of being a founder. Then in Clazar for the last 3 years, we have built an amazing platform to help founders to scale their GTM with the AWS Marketplace. So we'll share a lot of nuggets into the calls, but it's a powerful new GTM channel, which a lot of, I would say 90% of the people don't even know how to set these things up. But like all of the GTM channel, the early you start, the better it is for you, right? So in the last 3 years, our platform has supported $2 billion plus of transactions, and we are companies like Perplexity, Replit, Cursor, all of the your favorite engineering tools, and we are setting up the GTM channel for them. So really looking forward to our conversation today. Over to you, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, Lalit kind of covered it all. I report into Lalit. I'm a senior partnerships manager here. I'm kind of like the face of the operation when it comes to building our GTM motion with AWS sellers. Finding out what's important to them, what their customers are looking for, what they're also looking to achieve when it comes to the marketplace, and kind of like where Clazar ties in and where we could support them on both fronts. So that's kind of my role and what I'm doing over here.
Absolutely great, and great work. I've seen some of the customer success story. I was actually part of one of it. I'm super keen to talk about some of them in the next, I think in the next few minutes. But before we start, I guess, Lalit, I think my initial question is for the audience that might not be familiar with the marketplace. Can you maybe give us a primer of what the AWS Marketplace is and how we can make use of it to actually get in front of the right people into the enterprise sales cycle and making sure that our solution has the right audience?
So maybe I'll just start with the basic of marketplace. I think everyone has used B2C marketplace, like be it Amazon or like any marketplace where you buy your sneakers, anything at all. Like similarly, you can think of a B2B marketplace where you can actually buy and sell software uh, on a e-commerce portal, right? So it's exactly similar, right? Uh, and there are a lot of reasons why software procurement is shifting onto these cloud platforms, right? Just to put things in perspective, the entire software commerce market is around $800 billion, right? And the entire marketplace they started 6-7 years back, right? Out of $800 billion, right now approximately 50 billion is already shifted on these clouds, right? Which is around 7-8% of the entire software commerce market, and it is projected to grow to 25 to 30%, right? So what the bottom line is, for example, let's take an example of AWS. So AWS has tons of customers. They have a committed budget on AWS, right? Now, within the same budget, enterprise can now buy softwares also, which previously was not the case, right? So the entire motion start because enterprise want to buy software from their committed budget. They want to streamline their entire software procurement on a single channel. So that's where it starts from. If buyer want to buy you from the AWS marketplace, then as a seller you need to be present on those platforms, right?
Yeah,
So
I've
this is
seen
high
I've seen a
level view.
lot of I've seen a lot of enterprise customers that actually that they do the shopping there because it really helps in first of all like achieving their goals with AWS. So like you are there. If you are there, it really helps. Apart from like delivering value for your customers there with your own software, but you're also helping them out in making sure that they achieve even more on AWS from a contractual perspective. So like this is, I think, the first foot in the door that you have as a go-to-market strategy is, hey, we're available on the marketplace. Do you have any commitment to AWS? That's gonna smooth the transition out.
And just to give you one example, this year Salesforce has transacted $2 billion on AWS marketplace, right? This number was zero 1 year back, right? and they're projecting it to move to $50 billion in next 2 to 3 years, right? So like this is the level of shift which is happening in this space. So any founder who is selling to enterprises, if they are not on marketplace, so they are not extracting the value of the AWS on which they are hosted at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because all buyers, sellers, everyone is using the same cloud platform, and AWS is trying to make the transaction and like facilitate this entire process between buyer and sellers.
And just going off of that point too, Lalit, like we have seen before, when one of these enterprise customers are looking to procure something, they will ask like, "Hey, are you guys on the marketplace?" to help draw down that commitment through AWS. And if they're deciding between 2 or 3 different companies or vendors, but the pricing is pretty similar, product's pretty similar, could be potentially the deciding factor, right? So it does put you at a slight disadvantage if you aren't kind of like migrating over to the marketplace.
There's also, I mean, I've worked with very large customers, and the more structured and the larger they become, they also start putting, I would say, processes in place that maybe are, not necessarily streamlined, and they might require from you maybe filling up what's called like an RFI or like an RFP, so request for proposal. So like in structuring those deals. So I would say that offering a procurement way, the procurement that AWS Marketplace provides you is one way to score up into those sort of mechanisms. Have you folks seen any of these examples with the customers you've accelerated?
So I'll just start with why the acceleration is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, in enterprises, there are 2, 3 hurdles that we have seen. One is getting access of the new budget is extremely hard, right? But if they've already committed money, it's significantly easier to extract that money, right? So that's why it's a slightly shorter cycle. Second is AWS provides standard EULA, end user license agreement, right? Which is a standardized agreement, which their legal team knows there is no negotiation is needed, right? So using both of these factors, we have seen procurement cycle reduced by at least 30 to 40%.
And so it's like these are the 3 factor, right? So procurement, budget, and licensing. So that it's all taken care of. And normally, like startups that would or like customers that would want to get listed onto the marketplace, what is the process that would look like for them? So what is it that they need to provide to the AWS Marketplace, and where is it that you guys can actually help?
Right. So listing on AWS Marketplace is the first step on getting successful with the GTM journey on the marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have seen it's a 6 to 1 year old, like 1 year sort of a channel that you build the structure from scratch, right? So in terms of the entire journey, listing is the first step. Then you become co-sell eligible with AWS. You start the co-selling process. You involve the AWS account manager onto the call. So it's an entire journey for 1.5 year. Like it's going to take good amount of time, right? Now the difference is, let's say if you're doing it yourself, right? The entire thing. So only listing is going to take you good 3 to 6 month sort of a time, right? And the second bottleneck is you need to invest in terms of the learnings of the entire thing, right? How to list, like what are the technical things that you need to build. Sometimes like people don't have engineering bandwidth to put into this initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
That derails the entire process, right? And one more thing that we have seen with our customers is there are some standard practices that this is how you should operate when you're putting on your listing. So we have seen so many people who are not following those SOPs end up into listing something else, which takes longer to fix those things, right? So what we do on our side is we reduce this entire listing time within 1 or 2 weeks without any engineering investment on the customer side, right? And the one second bottleneck that we have seen is people, companies at Series A or pre-Series A stage, they can't invest in head of partnerships who can come and structurally build this entire channel, right? So we are going to be a partner for the founders, and in the first year, 1.5 year, whatever is needed for their founding team, let's say if any chief of staff or anyone who is looking into this channel, so we will enable them to make sure how to take the best advantage of this channel, right? So they don't need to invest in headcount, they don't need to invest in learning, they need to invest in building the product, and we will help them setting up the entire marketplace channel for them. Think of us as a PDM generally, which you get once you grow bigger into the AWS ecosystem. So we are your
Yeah.
PDM, and we will help you with this entire scaling exercise on the AWS marketplace.
Mhm. And so PDM stands for Partner Development Manager. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Cool. And
Yes.
it's fundamentally you'll be like a mixture of like a fractional PDM and then providing folks with say a platform, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not just like speeding up the process of getting listed, but also we've seen that there are many other stages in which you folks can help. And before we get to that, there's a question coming from LinkedIn. Hey Avinash, thank you so much for your question.
Yes.
So I guess I asked them on the chat. So what is the most painful or most difficult or like the biggest challenge? And Avinash replied, how do we approach enterprise customers? And can you explain some of the methods that we should be following to get in front of them? And I guess on the same kind of topic, like how do we get early users onto our solution? Samad is actually asking from their agentic DevOps platform. Thank you so much for joining the show today and for your kind questions.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Lalit, if you could lean into that one, because it's actually funny. Trinal and Ayush, our CEO and CTO, actually have no sales background prior to starting this company, so we could definitely relate and talk about like how we've grown within the AWS ecosystem and have 300 plus customers now. Lalit was part of that journey before I joined the team, so but I could talk about what we're doing now in today's world after Lalit kind of describes like how we got this all started.
So, like, I just don't want to put a rosy picture right now, right?
Mhm.
Rosy picture is then like everyone want the customer on day one, right? From AWS, right? So this is usually not how it works, right? Because there are like thousands and thousands of startups, companies, partners AWS has, right? So what AWS is looking forward to is who is the partner which is leaning heavily onto the AWS with this initiative, right? And you can divide the value proposition into 2 3 different parts, right? So the first and immediate value proposition is, for example, if you have a couple of enterprise customers, right, who you are already in conversation with, right? So getting onto the AWS marketplace first solve that you can access those committed budgets, right? You can reduce your procurement cycles, and you can be ensured that you will be paid on time because AWS marketplace takes care of the payment, right? So this is the immediate value proposition once you get listed on the AWS marketplace, right? After
And
this, the go ahead. Yeah.
oh no, sorry, I was saying in terms of maybe involving early stage customers,
Yes.
and this may be a question also to the chat, folks. Have you maybe aligned with some of your early design partners? Because I think that's those are the first customers or like design partner that then become your ambassadors. So that's also a way that I think this should be. You might look into it. Another strategy that I've seen taken by some folks is actually maybe resorting to open source strategies and like maybe open sourcing a part of your IP that is not actually core to your business, or like building that sort of things. That route, if it might sound like hitting 2 home runs in a row, and that might be difficult to line up. But the initial creation of like an open source community around your product, that makes a lot of sense, and it can be a booster to your initial sales, or if not, just like in finding an early design partner. And then once you have gone through the first couple of iterations, then that's when you should potentially start looking into this various distribution channels, including the AWS Marketplace.
Yes. Exactly. I think once the product is built, once the couple of customers are in, you know exactly what to sell, right? So that's when like you start looking at this channel and first get your listing live, right? And drive those transactions via AWS Marketplace, which will simplify the entire transaction process for you, right? So this would be the first immediate step. And the second step, which is extremely important, which I really like personally, which is co-selling with AWS, right? So what do we mean by co-selling is, because it's a new terminology for most of the people in the audience. So what do we mean by co-selling is, for example, if you're talking to, let's say, Dell, right? You put the opportunity or the lead that you have in the AWS ecosystem, which is called APN or the AWS Partner Portal. Once you put the opportunity in that ecosystem, you will get to know two very important information. One is who is the account manager in AWS who is taking care of this opportunity, whose account is this, right? So that AWS account manager already have a relationship with the persona that you are talking to, right? So it's the first important information. Second important information you will get to know is if they have the committed amount on AWS or not, right? How likely they are able to buy you from on the AWS Marketplace. So once you know these two information, you can go and engage with the AWS account manager. Like, I'm talking to XYZ company. You are the account manager of this company. This is the persona that we are talking to. This is how it's going. Can you share more about this opportunity, about the persona, right? So basically, you are selling the solution along with the AWS to your customers, right? So this is what we mean by co-selling, and it increases your trust immediately because AWS is directly involved into that conversations, and that will help you fast, like revive the stall deal, um, uh, fast tracking the transaction process, and actually help you increase your win rates.
Yeah. I as well, like as solutions architects as well, I probably folks, you don't know too much about like how the sales cycle at AWS actually works, but like we are deeply involved in it. We are the people who fundamentally try to help the customer going through the technical I would say validation of what that opportunity actually looks like, and saying, hey, actually this makes sense. It is something that this partner is the right one. We will do some also like architectural reviews on what the overall solution looks like. For the marketplace is a little bit different because the path is kind of paved for you. But we as account team, we are deeply involved into this, and this is how we get to know like amazing partners such as Clazar, for example, that help us build for the customers, but not necessarily requiring us to be super hands-on. So this is we trust partners to actually do a great job with our customers, and this is kind of the mechanism where like you in the deal you're pulling also additional AWS resources such as myself or like my colleagues, and that is also a great way of like doing additional marketing to solutions architects who are the ones who are the boots on the ground when it comes to going and meeting with customers. They come to us for advice, and absolutely being on the radar, or folks like myself or other people in AWS really help in like starting smoothing those or like creating those bridges, building those relationships. So this is something that it wasn't immediately known to me, and even when I started being an AWS solutions architect. But that's kind of the mechanism that you're building there. You're building a relationship with AWS that will help out in smoothing the sales process.
And then I'll move to the third point, which was the question from Prashant, is how to generate new logos from AWS, right? And the process it works is, for example, you generated 50 opportunities. You involved 50 account managers into your conversations. 50 account manager get to know about you, right? So they have 100 more accounts, right? So they can sell you in those 100 more accounts, and that's how you start generating leads from AWS. So this is how it works in a plain simple language, right? And in AWS they have like tons of account manager, 10,000 plus account managers, and you need to build a relationship with all of them. Or like as for example, we have built relationship with at least 1,000 account managers, right? And that's how we keep on getting opportunities from the AWS team, that this is the customer who is looking for something like this, why don't you go and talk to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the entire process will take 6 to 12 months of focusing on this channel, right? But in the first 6 months, the value proposition would be more towards accelerating your deal, getting the access of the committed budgets, make sure you're getting paid on time, right? And then working with the AWS account managers to make sure you have a trust in the system. AWS account manager is pitching you to the customer, you are having increased win rates. Then you start thinking about building the more pipeline which is sourced from AWS. So this is the kind of like 3-step process of thinking about this channel.
That's great. And so I would say this, and this sounds really, really abstract. So this is where I probably would like to maybe start having a look at what you folks have built, and how it actually streamlines all of these 3 steps.
Sounds good. And like before I share and start sharing my screen, like this is how exactly the platform works. Anything else we should cover, or maybe I'll just go ahead and share across how the platform works, right?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yes. So maybe I'll just start with I'll just go ahead and share my screen.
Sounds great.
Yes. So I'm making sure I'm not putting the red. I'm just not going out of the window. Yeah. Cool.
There you go. Ooh.
So I'll just start with basic first. Like this is what AWS Marketplace is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in AWS Marketplace, like there are multiple different categories, and there are tons of solution. I think there are close to 22,000 solutions that are already listed on the AWS Marketplace, right? For example, if you want to search about Datadog, you can search about Datadog, and you will get to know they have like these all of their listings that are live on the AWS Marketplace. For example, you want to buy Datadog, people can come and people can just do the transaction directly on the AWS Marketplace. So this is what AWS Marketplace is, right? Now the first step is getting your listing live on the AWS Marketplace, right? So there are 2 ways of doing it. One is, let's say if you're not with Clazar, you read the entire documentation, you understand like how exactly it needs to be done, what should be the pricing. So there are a lot of elements that you need to learn, and then on top of it there are some integrations that you need to build, which gonna need some engineering efforts on your side. But let's say you're with Clazar, the way it's gonna work is you let's say you create the listing on the Clazar platform, and when you are building this listing, that you can exactly get to know how it's going to look like once it is live on the AWS Marketplace, right? So before making it live, you can actually see this is how exactly it's going to look like. You keep on making changes here, and it will keep on reflecting on like this is how the entire listing will look. So as a So what you need to do is you just need to fill in all of these details on your site on the Clazar platform. And normally anyone on the marketing side or anyone, let's say the co-founder and the CEO, they can fill all of these things, which is not like tough, or which is like it's straight simple about their business. Then what we do on the background is we'll make sure that all of it is compliant to what the best practices are on the AWS Marketplace. So our team will review, and after reviewing, our team will do the entire
Looks like we have lost a lit. Oh no.
Lost them.
Yeah. Folks, in the meantime, folks, if you have any question for the team at Clazar, we might be able to
Is it
to
better now?
answer. So just yeah.
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
back.
I don't
You're
know.
back.
I don't know what happened. Apologies.
Okay.
Apologies, folks. You know, this sort of things happen.
Cool.
I'll bring back your screen again.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were saying that so this is fundamentally a way for you to preview what the listing is going to look like even before you go
Yes.
public, right? And so you
Exactly.
and you also have a team of validators that would have a look into that and will say, hey, this looks great. This should be changed, something like that.
Exactly. Yes. Yep. So our team will review it, and then after that, there's some engineering uh, uh, things that, for example, integration testing. There are a couple of things that needs to be done, which our team have built the systems and the integration with AWS, which our team will do. So there is no engineering effort is needed from the customer side.
Okay. And normally we would how can you like maybe estimate like how long would it take to like a customer team to actually build this sort of integrations?
So I would, most of the people that we have, like it's around between 3 to 6 months.
Oh wow, okay. So there's
Yes. So if they're doing
okay.
it themselves, 3 to 6 months, with
Mhm.
us within 1 or 2 weeks, without much effort on their side.
Okay, get you. And that is say that, for example, if folks have never built anything on the marketplace, say that you have a SaaS software, there are some data integrations that you actually need to build. So, for example, you need to report the metric of usage of maybe the invocation
Yeah.
of some of your APIs. Or I mean, it's for like a containerized solution. You might want to come up with the best pricing strategy. So like there are some, I would say, some infrastructural and like business logic that you need to build in order to be able to report to the marketplace, and at the end of the day, getting paid the right amount, right?
Amount.
So there's
Yes.
yeah. So this is actual like hands-on engineering effort that you need to put in to actually be ready to be profitable on the AWS Marketplace.
But most of the integrations that we have built, all of the billing integrations that we have built, so it's extremely easy for you to integrate the solution. So like it's not going to be a major uplift for you. For example, we are working with Replit, we are working with um, all like Pinecone, who was heavy on metering. So we have built all of these solutions. So this with your current solution, you just need to integrate. If your metering is your metering is automated, then you just need to build, like we already have integration with or metronome, these type of solutions. So I think that should be easy on your side. I don't think so that much engineering effort is needed.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next? So like we have
Yes.
saved what 3 to 6 months of engineering effort in building a metering solution.
In building.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So after this, the bottleneck comes is training the sales team, right? How to pitch marketplace in the sales cycle, what questions to ask, how to identify if it is deal is the right fit on the marketplace or not, right?
Yeah.
So we work with the founders. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, we might have lost your screen. Can you share it again?
Yes. So I just
No worries. And folks, please do let me know if you have if you have any experience in listing onto the marketplace, and like what your hurdles have been, or if you have successful listing, let us know in the chat box. There you go. Oh, there you go. Good.
Yes. So the first part we covered about the listing, which is between 1 or 2 weeks. And now the second question which you asked is what after that? What after the listing part? And you have saved 3 to 6 months of effort while doing your listing. Right? Now the second part is the sales enablement, right? Which is actually educating the founders or educating their sales team or head of sales. These are the questions you should ask. This is why you should transact via marketplace. This is how you can create the private offer. This is how you send the private offer. These are the questions that you need to ask from the team. So the entire enablement exercise is something that we do with our customers. Right. So sometimes it is a bit difficult for them to figure out. So they always approach us, or we have a lot of content that we have already built to streamline this entire process for them.
So are you providing folks with internally we call it like first call decks, or something like that, so that all of this is like material that they just need to tweak to basically tell their story, right? Do the storytelling.
Yes.
And helping folks and understand how they can transact. That's great. That's beautiful.
Exactly.
So customer obsessed.
So we are extremely, I think we are after customers to make sure that they are successful on the marketplace, and our customer success team are being tracked on how many customers who have transacted at least one deal in first 3 months of getting live. Right? So this is how we track our success metrics. So that's why we will be after you to make sure you are doing it successfully and actually using it.
Sounds cool. And
yes, and
yep.
One more interesting thing, which is the third point, which is $10,000 list and sell funding, right? So there are a couple of funding programs that are available only if you partner with someone like us, right? If you're going it direct, then these funding programs are not applicable. So there's a $10,000 list and sell funding, which is provided by the AWS via partner like us, right? So what it means is once you transact your first $65,000, $65K, then you will get back $10,000 back from AWS, right?
On top of that revenue, right?
On top of their revenue, yes.
And this is to cover what? The initial expense in listing, maybe.
Yeah. So basically, the whatever you are paying us, so that will cover your cost in the first 1 or 2 years.
Okay, so essentially, customers who engage with you, they will, if the listing is successful in 1 or 2 years, they will get back the money that they paid you for the services of listing. That's brilliant, especially for startups that they need to stretch a little bit the runway, right?
Even if you transact one deal, like the criteria is $65,000 transaction in your first year, right? So which normally people does, right? So if you're transacting $65,000, you are eligible for this funding. And our team will help with you to get this funding from AWS. So you don't need to worry about it. You just need to transact.
On this specific topic, maybe more of a question for Joe here. Like, what is your ideal customer profile? So have you transacted with some that you've seen specifically having more success than others? Is this the one that you're looking forward to transact? Like maybe even like what kind of stage? Maybe they're pre-seed, their seed, their Series A. Super interested in this.
Yeah, a lot of the customers that we work with have some sort of SaaS solution selling into the enterprise space. In terms of customer size, I mean, we work with all kinds. We have customers that have 10 less employees, and we have like, the Confluence of the world, Pinecone, Honeycomb. Here are some key logos here. Perplexity. But yeah, essentially anybody that has some sort of SaaS solution or that is an ISV is usually a pretty good fit for the marketplace, especially if they're selling into the enterprise space. Given what Lala had mentioned at the beginning of just bringing down their commit agreements with AWS.
And I actually see one important mixing logo here. Maybe we're gonna talk about it in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, this
Yes.
is impressive. I mean, I use almost all of the all of the startups that, or like the customers that you have launched. So this is absolutely fantastic, mind blowing.
Yep. So this is the second step. First listing, then transaction.
Okay, so
should I? Yes. Then the
yeah.
third step, which is extremely important, is once customer knows how to transact their first one or two deals, right? Then we work with the customer to make them co-sell eligible with AWS. There are a couple of requirements like you have to set up your APN, you have to complete your foundational technical review, you have to qualify for the ISV Accelerate program from AWS. So these are the couple of things that you need to do in order to become co-sell eligible with AWS. So our team will work with you. Like this is what you're supposed to do. Let's just go ahead and move this process, and let's make you co-sell eligible with the AWS.
And the co-sell eligible, what you get when you're co-sellable is the fact that
Yeah.
we were discussing before, right? That folks from AWS will be involved into your
Yes.
your sales funnels as well. So like we will be there to support you into the deal as long as we know about it, and you're part of the Amazon portal network where you can log the opportunities and you can fundamentally tell us about, hey, there's this big deal going on. We'd really like to partner
Yep.
with you. But before you are actually able to do that, you need to go through some of these stages of and requirements for approval.
Yes.
And then I think, Lalit, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I think you're going to be showing how we automate once they are eligible as well. So we are also helping our customers become eligible so we can co-sell with AWS. And then once they are eligible, for instance, we have a lean team here, a team of 2 to 3 people on the partnership side. And we're generating how many opportunities a month, Lalit? And we're able to do this due to our automation that Lalit will probably share here soon.
Yes. So we are generating close to 45% of our opportunity, which is given to us via AWS. So this is the scale that we are at. So we are generating 50% of ours. We share it with the AWS team and we get back 50% more with us. So on a month, like we are generating 45-50 opportunities, which is given to us by
I was referring to the opportunities that we are creating via marketing outbound that we're sharing with AWS due to automation.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. So to answer your point, so making customer co-sell eligible to make sure that the right checkbox are ticked and the AWS team can work with you, or the sellers can work with you to accelerate your deals, to help you win, to give you more opportunities. So this is the third step. In the first 2 steps, it is not there. In third step, it will start kicking in.
Sounds great. So what is actually I would say once you have automated this, so what is next? What's left for what's left for the customers to do?
Yes. So now the next step that once you are done with APN, FTR, ISV Accelerate, then the next challenge come is, let's say if you're generating 100 leads in a month, you have to put those 100 leads into the AWS ecosystem. For doing it manually, you can't do it, right? We were not able to do it manually. So that's why we created all of the integrations that, for example, whenever you have an opportunity in your CRM, it will auto create on the AWS ecosystem. So we have all of these integrations. Once you start scaling, the entire process of uploading the opportunity, updating the opportunity, everything is happening in a automated sort of a fashion, which is we call as a CRM integration. And at this point, startup will also be eligible for additional $10,000 funding for their CRM integration.
Okay, and so Can you tell me maybe a bit more about like what this CRM integration actually looks like? What is it that
Yes.
that we get in terms of value, right? So because if I'm thinking
Yes.
of the CRMs that I use, like Salesforce, for example, I can see the progression of my opportunity going through. Maybe I can get a little bit of an overview of like the leads that I'm coming through. So and all of this, like as a technical person, I wasn't really aware of all of like what all of this actually meant. So it might be interesting to see what it looks like.
Yes. So, for example, we can talk about this deal called LensDB, right, which we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about in the customer success. So, let's say I have generated this opportunity in my CRM, right? Now, the traditional way of doing it would be I have to upload the opportunity on APN, right? So, this is the first step. So, this is called like AWS Partner Portal Network, and you will go in this partner portal. Just a sec. Just 1 second.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, we are good. We are good.
Folks, if you're joining just now, we are having a look at what it means to co-sell with AWS with the help of
Yes.
our friends from Clazar. So let me just bring this back on.
Yep. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, sure.
Right.
It's up and running.
So let's say once you have any opportunity into your CRM, then you upload this opportunity in the AWS partner portal, which what I was explaining you, the APN portal. So this is the APN portal where you upload your opportunities or add any opportunities that you want to co-sell with AWS, right? So let's take an example of LensDB. So this is the LensDB opportunity. You can create this opportunity, and you have to fill in all of these details. For example, what's the customer name, what's their website, industry vertical, country, all of the information that you need to fill for every opportunity that you want to co-sell with AWS. Right. So for every opportunity, you're going to take 20-30 minutes to fill in all of these details. Right. So this is the manual way of doing it. For example, if Clazar is not in the picture, this is how you are supposed to do it. Right. And the information that you will get once you upload this opportunity is who are the AWS account manager who is handling this opportunity. For example, in this case, David is the person who is the AWS sales rep for LensDB.
Okay.
Right. So this is the first information that you get to know. And this second information which we talked about earlier is what is their engagement score? How likely, for example, in this stage, their AWS engagement score is low, right? So they have some commits on the AWS, but not a huge commits. So these are the two information you will get to know once you upload this opportunity on the AWS ecosystem. Now I will move back to, let's say, once you have Clazar in the system, then how it will work, right? So what we do is we do the entire integration of your CRM with ACE, and we do the field mapping. For example, let's say if you are using HubSpot as a CRM, right? So we will do the field mapping. For example, in ACE, the website, the information that is there in the website, it should come from your CRM from this field, company website. Right? Company name should come from company name. So we do this entire field mapping. Now what happens is whenever you create this opportunity into your CRM, it will get created directly onto the ACE without you doing anything manual. So even if you're creating 10,000 opportunities, all 10,000 will get created and managed using the integrations and using the workflow onto the AWS ecosystem. So which is extremely powerful.
Yeah. So not only like you folks are helping out getting onto the marketplace early, and quickly
Yeah.
you removing some engineering effort, but also for your salespeople, all the folks that are actually your reps that are in front of customers. This is streamlining the management of that opportunity. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Yes. And one more thing is, you can get to know all of the details that we saw over there. For example, who is the account manager,
Mm-hmm.
what's their engagement score, directly into your CRM. We create this sidecard, and you will get to know the entire information, their engagement score, their AWS sales rep, everything directly in your CRM. You don't need to go out. So, which increases your adoption of using all of these things directly into your CRM.
Mm-hmm. Sounds great. And I guess that so this is the end-to-end journey, I would say, and
Yes.
how it looks like from a perspective of somebody who's actually engaging with Clazar. So absolutely brilliant, folks. I'd love more and more startups actually getting in touch with you and getting onto the marketplace. I would say, and you folks are a young, I would say a young AWS partner. So for startup founders that may wish to become AWS partners, maybe if you can share like those one or two big lessons that you wish you knew before you actually started, that might be fantastic for our audience to learn more about it.
So since we ourselves use our own platform, right? Because we also co-sell with the entire thing with the AWS, right? So, and me and Joey, we both are new into the partnership space, right? So I was not even aware about what the AWS Marketplace is before me joining this company, right? And we figured out all of these things in the last 3 years, right? And when I think back, I feel it's like, I think I have not wasted, but the entire thing could have been accelerated if there's some expert person who might have working with me, right? So I would say, if in the hindsight, I think expertise is something which is extremely important to understand like what's right for you and how you should build this channel in the right way, right? So this is what we will help with to our customers, right? Don't think like this, think like this, right? Don't think about creating expecting opportunity from the AWS team on day one, right? First you should understand about these value proposition, take advantage, slowly build a relationship, and this is how exactly it works, right? So my recommendation would be like, it's going to be an extremely critical channel, but it's going to take some time for you to build it. So you should have the patience of at least 6 to 12 months. And instead of doing it alone, I would recommend, if your business is growing, your product market fit is done, so take advantage of this channel with some expert partners. And AWS is promoting it heavily, so you will actually have these $20,000 funding that can actually offset your partner cost,
Yeah.
right? So most of our customers that we work with, it is essentially like they are not paying anything in net in the first 1 or 2 years, right? So why do it alone when you have some expert partner, and without putting a lot of money and getting it ROI positive in the first 1 or 2 years? So you don't need to think about anything. So that's why AWS is making it extremely easy for you. Just try out this channel, figure it out for 1 or 2 years, and then you will understand the power of this channel, which would be eventually helpful for you in the long run of your business.
And also, who knows, we might end up in on Let's Build a Startup, because this is how we got to know.
Exactly.
We got to know to each
Yeah.
other. Joy, any last comment before we close? And again, Lily, thank you so much for all of your insight today. This has been extremely helpful. I will be able to articulate this a lot better with my customers as well. Joy.
No, from my side, I mean, since I'm working with AWS on a daily basis, as Lalit mentioned about expertise and all that, obviously that's very important, but also just the relationship building side of it and understanding what's important to the folks over at AWS, along with what's important with their customers, and just putting a lot of energy and effort into this channel, right? I feel like there's two different points or two different ways to view this channel, from transactional purposes, like Lalit mentioned at the beginning, just quicker transactions and whatnot. But if you're looking to build this as a GTM motion, as we have here at Clazar, and like build deep relationships with everybody all across the globe on the AWS front, it's going to take some time, and you just got to stick with it, and just figure out what's important to them. Go visit offices, get the message across of what you guys do. But I think those relationships are really, really important, because one customer could be one deal, right? This is how I view it. But if you make a deep relationship with 5 or 10 reps, they could have 10 or 15 customers each that you could benefit and help as well. So I think it's an important channel to get involved in.
Sounds great. And folks, we are getting to the end of the stream. So I wanted to thank Lalit and Joy from Clazar for having shown a light on what it means to become an AWS partner, and what it means to co-sell with us. So again, folks, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And just for next week, so on November the 25th, we'll be chatting about another agentic use case that we have accelerated with the help of the AWS prototyping team. We'll have on our stage our friends from Mindflow, which is a no-code and AI-driven automation and orchestration platform that enables enterprise cyber IT professionals to automate their mundane tasks. So if you're into agentic automation, please make sure that you mark your calendars for next week, the 25th of November, 2 p.m. GMT, 9 a.m. EST, 6 a.m. PST. Or you can also catch on demand on LinkedIn. We have a page called AWS Startups. If you're not there, you should be following it. Or even on YouTube under AWS events, just search for AWS Let's Build a Startup. Folks, I need to close now the stream, but again, I wanted to thank you so much for sticking with us, and hopefully see you next week in another episode of Let's Build a Startup. Bye bye. Have a good one.